After his comprehensive election victory, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has urged the British public to move on from Brexit and let the healing begin. Labor suffered its worst result since 1935, but its leader, Jeremy Corbyn, is refusing to resign straight away.
He pledged to get Brexit done. Now Boris Johnson can. It's time, he says, for the acrimony to end.
I frankly urge everyone on either side of what are, after 3.5 years, after all, an increasingly arid argument, I urge everyone to find closure and to let the healing begin.
He was propelled back into Downing Street not just with the votes of traditional Tories, but the backing of lifelong Labor supporters who switched sides.
And to all those who voted for us for the first time, and those whose pencils may have wavered over the ballot, and who heard the voices of their parents and their grandparents whispering anxiously in their ears, I say thank you for the trust you have placed in us and in me, and we will work round the clock to repay your trust and to deliver on your priorities with a parliament that works for you.
The Conservatives ended up with 365 seats, a gain of 47. Labor won just 203, a loss of 59. The Scottish National Party gained 13 seats, while the Liberal Democrats and the Democratic Unionist Party of Northern Ireland both performed poorly. It gives the Tories a majority of 80.
Mr Corbyn, it's over, Mr Corbyn, isn't it?
The architect of Labor's disastrous campaign still says Brexit's to blame. Many of his MPs blame him.
If you analyse the coverage that's made of the Labour Party, you analyse the coverage that's made of me, you're looking at in the 80% and above of negative, hostile, or frankly just downright abuse of individuals and character assassination and constant attacks on me and my family and others.
Jeremy Corbyn insists he won't stand down until a replacement's elected, which could take months. It was Labor's losses in Brexit-supporting areas that cost them. Grimsby had been a Labor seat since 1945. Not anymore.
Everybody is willing to question maybe where they wouldn't have before and go against what they may normally vote for.
West Bromwich is no longer a brick in Labor's red wall either, electing a Tory for the first time.
I voted Boris because I believe that the people three and a half years ago who voted to leave, they should have respected that, and they didn't.
Even further north, the SNP won 48 of Scotland's 59 constituencies, including the seat of the Liberal Democrats leader. In the coming days, Nicola Sturgeon will formally request a second independence referendum.
It is time for Boris Johnson to start listening. I accept, regretfully, that he has a mandate for Brexit in England, but he has no mandate whatsoever to take Scotland out of the European Union.
The Prime Minister has already told the SNP leader he won't back a new independence vote. Mr Johnson went to see the Queen, another staunch supporter of the Union, where he accepted her invitation to form a government. Just months ago, he was being criticised for misleading her over the prorogation of Parliament. His premiership was in peril. How quickly things can change. At the beginning of 2019, the Conservatives were totally split over Brexit. Even the most optimistic Tory wouldn't have predicted how the year would end. Boris Johnson has united the party. He has a thumping majority and plenty of political capital to spend. So often written off as a caricature, the court jester of British politics, Mr Johnson has had the last laugh. These protesters outside Downing Street may not like it, but the Prime Minister now has a mandate for Brexit. His decisions will shape this country's future for decades to come. In London, Ben Lewis, SBS World News.